So we are furthest along with Colombia. It should be a matter of weeks, but we also have additional lawful pathways that already have existed for people to access.
The phone apps you're talking about.
Yes, the parole program for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans.
That's Alejandro Mayorkas telling this. What was he on? Was that CNN, MSNBC? Telling this, CBS, thank you, Steve. Telling this reporter, no. I mean, you're asking about single adult males from Venezuela with no family here entering the country. You're mistaken. You're mistaken. Dude, we've seen the video. I don't know where he thinks that what we're mistaken about. Welcome back to the program. Your flummoxed curmudgeon here, Dana Loesch. You can listen coast to coast. You can watch the simulcast of the radio show, YouTube, Facebook, channel 347, Direct TV. This is going to, guys, I'm just trying to wrap my mind around how bad this is going to be. This is unbelievable. The expectation of entry, the amount of people who are expected to go across the border the second Title 42 lifts. I was looking at some of all of the numbers and how many people are crossing. I mean, it's going to look apocalyptic. I mean, that's just what. I mean, and there have been people who have described that that's what their expectation as to what this will look like. And then all of the 1,500 active duty troops that they've sent, they're going to only be processing people. They're not going to be doing any kind of enforcement. They're just going to be processing people through the system faster. That's literally what they're being used for. They're sending 1,500 active duty troops down there just to process people faster. That's all it is. They're not going to enforce anything. They're not going to do nothing. This is crazy. It's crazy. And Republicans should not be engaging in any kind of negotiation on the debt ceiling until the border's closed. Honestly, if they played their messaging right, I don't see how this would be a winning or a losing position for them. Think about this. We're pretending to have some kind of good faith discussion about debt ceiling issues, about the border, or about the budget when we have a wide open border. Why are we having any kind of discussion about this at all whatsoever while the border's open? Why are we having any kind of discussion about this at all whatsoever while Alejandro Mayorkas is demanding the processing of illegal entrants faster and then losing contact with all of the kids that are coming through, dropped off by coyotes alone? Why are we engaging in this? This is just a Victorian freak show. This is stupid. This is Republican theater. I don't know how, there's no other thing I can use to describe it. I think it's a joke. I don't even want to talk about the debt ceiling anymore because I don't take it seriously. I don't take any of this seriously. I'm not going to sit here in this chair behind this mic and talk about these absolute BS issues when we have a wide open border. What does any of it else matter? You have a wide open border. You got 15,000 people set to cross in one day. The second this thing is up, the second it expires, they're going to cross. We already have people down at the border. You already have the drone camera footage. You can see. Why are we this is not even, why are we talking about this? 10,000, I've read 15,000. And they're all young, as Kane and I were talking about and looking at some of the surveillance footage of people waiting in line that Juan's showing you on the simulcast. Not a single one of these people is over age of 30. Not a single one. Mostly young men. There are a couple of women, but it's mostly young men. And we're having this. We're supposed to talk about budget issues. We're supposed to talk about the debt ceiling and increasing how much we can spend. Why are we doing any of this? Why are we having this conversation at all? I would walk out. I would protest even showing up. Where are our lawmakers on this? Why haven't we had a single one say, you know what? Look, I'm going to tell you, I think that Kevin McCarthy's been fulfilling promises that he's made. But I want to see people say, no, we're not going to engage in this. Now it's on the Senate side. We're not going to engage in this until we close the border, until we have some kind of closed border. Why is that so beyond the realm of possibility? Why is that not being entertained? It's all a joke. All a joke. This is going to be devastating for so many of these border towns. They said there are 10,000 right across the border waiting. Waiting. Once the policy's dropped, they're waiting. They're basically hanging out right by the border, just waiting to cross. And I mean, there is nothing else. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I can't imagine, you know, some of these border towns, they're going to see at least there for a little bit. I mean, you're talking about having border towns whose populations by themselves are going to be increased 4- and 5-fold, while everyone, it comes in and then they stay and then they go. I mean, it's being called an invasion, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Here's where it gets crazier. So there's 10,000 that are like people who have been actively counted and who are waiting right across the border. There's another 5,000, apparently. That's one group coming up. And there's about 700,000. According to numerous Border Patrol counts. Also according to Mexican authorities, because you got a lot of people coming up from Central and South America coming up through Mexico. I mean, this is, in El Paso alone, there's 2,000 illegal entrants, including children. People are sleeping on the street. Everything is so overcrowded, they do not have enough spaces for people to even sleep in a shelter, under a roof. It is, there were enough people who entered the country last year illegally that it's like creating another state of Mississippi. Apparently it was around the same population size as Mississippi. Oh yeah, I heard some of your jaws drop. That's what we're talking about here. Think about this. You got 15,000 on the other side of the border. The town that I came from has 3,000 people in it. 3,000. So in the span of 4 years, the number of people who entered the country illegally under this president, only in 4 years, you've added the entire population of a state. In 4 years. Do you see why I say that 2024 is too important to be jacking around with popularity, personality contests on the right? Do you see why I get so angry I almost can't even talk about it on air? When I see all these operatives pretending that they're not paid operatives, and I know better, that are all on Twitter and they're on Facebook, and they're acting as though, oh, well, we got to go for this person or you know, X, Y, and Z. None of that's going to matter if we can't win. Winning, I don't care who. Winning, and the person who can win the most, that is all I care about for 2024. Because this, folks, just in the past 4 years, we added the population of an entire state of people. And that is only, guys, that's only the people who entered illegally. I'm not making this up. This is published information hidden on this thing that we call the internet. It's from Customs and Border Patrol. It is an entire state. You have people like Lori Lightfoot demanding that there be relief. Eric Adams. You have all of these Democrat mayors and Democrat governors who are mad and demanding relief. If it's bad enough that they're demanding relief, that should tell you something. Yeah, in his keynotes, it's only when they get 50 or 100 of them. I mean, how dare they show up in our sanctuary state? I think people have this impression that it's only a few hundred people that are coming across, and that could not be further from the truth. It is thousands of people. Audio soundbite 9, Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced the Special National Guard unit mobilizing ahead of this ending of Title 42. Listen.
Right now, as we're speaking, the Texas National Guard is loading Black Hawk helicopters and C-130s, deploying specially trained National Guard members for the Texas Tactical Border Force. They will be deployed to hot spots along the border to intercept, to repel, and to turn back migrants who are trying to enter Texas illegally.
And watch, there's going to be a lawsuit filed on that. I bet you. Remember what happened when Jan Brewer, who was the governor of Arizona, some of you may not remember, but Jan Brewer, she tried to repel thousands of people who were coming across illegally. And Eric Holder under Barack Obama went after her. They were threatening her with jail and everything else. I mean, it is, I don't know what you would call it if it's not an invasion.